Item Number SCP-8582. Object Class Safe. Special Containment Procedures. SCP-8582 is to be under audio and video surveillance 24/7 and with site guards at the entrance of its cell. Description: SCP-8582 is described as a 15th century style wakizashi, roughly around 36 centimeters in length. It is found to have constant traces of blood on its blade, despite use of Foundation-grade cleansing equipment, such as Redacted and Redacted. Use of luminol finds the blade is still, as quoted by Dr. Ash, lit up like a department store Christmas tree in November. This weapon, when gripped in the hands of an individual, will force the victim, hereinafter referred to as SCP-8582-01, to commit the ritualistic suicide known as harakiri or seppuku. This does not result in the death in the most basic definition of the word of SCP-8582-01. The aforementioned, if left with the object for a time of approximately 3 minutes, will reanimate similar to that of the corpses provided to SCP-049 before the implementation of Containment Committee Order 049.S19.17.1. See Addendum 049.3. The body will then begin a segment of actions similar to that of the training undergone by the form of samurai known as a Rōnin, historically defined as a samurai who has no lord and has severed all links to family and clan. When inquired post-training, SCP-8582-01 will speak in fluent feudal Japanese without use of modern linguistic changes, while maintaining a cordial tone. Let the record show, the subjects used for experimentation do not know feudal Japanese. Translation from the second interview follows as such. See 8582-01-Interview 1 for the first failed interview. (8582-01-Interview 2) Transcript. Dr. Ash, for the record of SCP-8582-01 secondary interview with translation, this is Dr. Ash, clearance level redacted. Footnote: all of the below text is spoken in both English and feudal Japanese by the translator, the doctor, and SCP-8582-01 accordingly. Dr. Ash speaking. Hello, SCP-8582-01. Please inform me what drives you beyond the grave. SCP-8582-01. My goal is to kill for the good of all of Japan. I do not find beyond the grave, as you so put it. Dr. Ash. You train as a Rōnin for the good of Japan. 8582-01. Correct. Dr. Ash. And you believe you are not in control of what should be a corpse. 8582-01. As I am not. The man I am currently in control of is not passed beyond. Dr. Ash. The body you control had committed harakiri mere minutes before you stood and began to train. 8582-01. You should tell lies. Dr. Ash. I do not intend to falsify any documentation. I merely tell you what I witnessed. Note on record. 8582-01 grows visibly agitated and moves to draw his blade as if by habit, the blade having been removed from the instance. SCP-8582-01. Why have you stolen my sword? Dr. Ash. We have confiscated it to protect staff lives. 8582-01. This is humiliating. Dr. Ash. It is entirely for the safety of our staff. 8582-01. I must return to my training. Dr. Ash. Well, sir, the Japan you know is long since gone. Japan has progressed with leaps and bounds scientifically and even linguistically. 8582-01. Whatever do you mean? Dr. Ash. The shogunate is an aspect of the past. The very concept of the samurai is merely in historic use and in fiction. The last of the samurai were ended in the Battle of Shirayama. Note on record. SCP-8582-01 grew silent, ignoring multiple requests and orders from the doctor to speak, before suddenly lunging at the doctor, attempting to pummel him. This was stopped by a site guard firing 4 rounds into the instance, terminating it immediately. The recording ends at this point. Autopsy records stated in Addendum 8582.1 show that the cause of death was indeed the act of harakiri. Addendum 8582.1 Object Discovery. The item was found in the city of Redacted, Massachusetts, in the Redacted Museum of Historic Warfare. The Foundation was alerted to his presence after an apparent burglary failed, when the sole perpetrator was found training using the object and ignoring local law enforcement's orders to drop the weapon, which resulted in officers deploying a less-than-lethal measure, prompting the civilian instance of SCP-8582-01 to attack, resulting in officers firing. It is to be noted that the intestines of SCP-8582-01 were dangling from his seppuku wounds, and officers claimed that this was their first concern before spotting the weapon being used by the man. After the instance was terminated, SCP-8582 was picked up by one of the responding officers, and immediately, the officer thrust the blade into his abdomen and performed a version of harakiri that was used when time was short, thusly removing many ritualistic aspects, such as the poem and the changing of garb, etc. This led to another officer attempting to grab the handle and meeting a similar fate. The third of 5 responding officers grabbed it by the blade, seeming to not experience the mind-altering effect. Upon the evidence being logged, an undercover Foundation agent contacted Dr. Ash of Site Redacted, who, along with MTF Gamma-13, Asimov's Lawbringers, traveled to contain the object immediately, carrying multiple amnestics to cover the story and hide the cause of death on all victims, aside from the civilian that had become an instance of SCP-8582-01, who was taken back to the site for study and autopsy. Class B amnestics were administered for surviving officers after interviews were finished, except for one, whom had been discovered as a GOC agent. This man was immediately terminated. A log of the interviews can be found under Data Expunged.